Here's what will be covered today in our seminar. We're going to look at the home buying process as a whole, discuss the current real estate market, home financing. This is a very important part of the process. Finding your home. You may already be doing some of this on your own. Making offers. This is where a real estate agent, hopefully me, will be helping you. Inspections. And then finally closing on your new home. This is very exciting. Allow me to introduce myself again. My name is Sandy Weed Jr. I'm a realtor with the Virtual Realty Group. I've been licensed since 2007 when I became a landlord and investor in New Jersey. When I moved to Arizona in 2016, I got my license here and became a salesperson. I have a background in teaching, so I enjoy helping people learn about the home buying process. Let's clear up a few misconceptions about the home buying process. We'll call this fear versus fact. The first fear is, I can't afford to buy a home right now. Some people feel this way for a variety of reasons, and we'll go into each one of those in a moment. The fact is, until you do the math, you don't know what you can or cannot afford. This means unless you speak with a mortgage broker and they look over your financials and your particular situation, it's really hard to determine. So we can have a conversation, and without seeing the numbers, we won't know. So that's all that means. So if you're worried that you can't afford to buy a home, it may take some digging to see if that's fact or just a fear. Another common fear is that people are worried about the market. For instance, I should wait until the market gets better. The truth of the matter is, there is never a bad time to buy the right home. As a real estate agent, part of my job is to help buyers determine what home is right for them based on their wants versus their needs. And that is something we'll talk about a little more in an upcoming slide. This is another major misconception. Fear. I don't have the money for the down payment. This is a huge concern because most people associate buying a house with needing a lot of money. For instance, if the house is $300,000, a lot of people believe that you have to have that much money in the bank. Most people are not carrying $300,000 around in their bank account. So I got great news about this, and we'll discuss it very soon. Here are the facts. There are a variety of down payment options available to you. It all depends on what you qualify for when you speak with your mortgage broker. That's why dealing with the mortgage broker and figuring out your finances is a very important piece of the home buying process. There are some programs where you only need a small percentage of the purchase price in order to buy the home. And we're going to discuss that in a little bit when we discuss financing. But I think a lot of you listening will be very pleased to know you don't need a ton of money in order to buy a home. Here's one more fear. I can't afford to buy my dream home. Look how it's worded. I can't afford to buy my dream home. There's a very good possibility that you cannot afford to buy your dream home. However, as a first-time home buyer, it makes more sense to buy a starter home, and we will discuss that in a little bit. if you have your eye on that dream home, the best way to get closer to buying it is to just get into your first home, a starter home, maybe something that's not at the very top of your wish list. I know that might sound a little dismissive or dream crushing. However, a lot of people can't afford their dream homes, even millionaires. The best way to get into your dream home is to buy your first home, and we're going to talk about why in a little bit. Buying your first home is just like starting anything new. Sometimes you have to start small and then work your way up. Why is it a good time to buy now? If you look at your home as an investment, and not all financial gurus believe your home is an investment. If you go on social media, you'll see differing opinions about this. However, real estate is a good investment for the following reasons: equity buildup, value appreciation, debt pay down, forced appreciation. Let me tell you what some of these terms mean. Equity buildup means the difference between what you owe on your property and what the property is worth is called equity. Equity is almost like a savings account that you can use either for your next home, or you can borrow against your property while you live in it and use it for basically whatever you want. Investments, preferably, improvements to the home, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. Value appreciation just means the value of your home goes up. Here in Arizona, value appreciation has been a very big deal. People that have bought their homes at the end of COVID, maybe at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, are seeing their homes go up in value by $100,000 or more since then. That's not always the case, but homes typically go up in value, and we will talk about that in a little bit. Debt pay down means as you make your monthly mortgage payment, the amount of your mortgage or your loan goes down. So as you pay on your loan, your equity grows. Forced appreciation just means that you improve the property by maybe adding an addition, remodeling the kitchen, bathroom, having a pool put in, so on and so forth. Here's some other reasons why you may want to buy now. Pride of ownership. It's always better to own something than to rent something if you're in a position to do so. Stability and safety. For instance, if you're renting a property, you may be asked to leave at the end of your lease. Safety comes into play if you're in a multi-unit property because you're sharing walls with people you don't know probably. Sense of community. If you own a property and you stay there for a little while, you get to know your neighbors and the neighborhood very, very well. Sometimes neighbors become very good friends. The freedom to customize is a big one because if you're renting someone's home, chances are you're not going to be able to just do whatever you want. And the fact is, if you change out the flooring or you make any major alterations, that's money that you're never going to see again. Tax benefits. There's quite a few basic tax benefits that you get from owning a property and paying a mortgage that a tax advisor can help you with. And then finally, wealth building. A lot of people get into purchasing their own home to establish that foundation of wealth. Because if you live in a home for 5, 7, 10 years, by the time you're ready to move, you're going to have a lot of equity. And like we mentioned before, equity is the difference between the value of the property and what you owe on the property. So for instance, if you lived in your home for 30 years and you bought it for $100,000 and now it's worth $400,000, you have no more mortgage, no more loan obligation, and the value is $400,000. You could go to a bank very easily and borrow against your home up to probably $350,000 without any problem. So it's a very good way to build wealth. I see a lot of this on social media. Owning versus renting. Here are some reasons why it would make sense to not buy right now. If you're getting ready to change jobs, it'll be harder for you to qualify for a mortgage. There are exceptions, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. Also, you might not be working near where you're going to live, and then you're going to have a commute, and you're going to be very upset that you bought a property that's an hour away from where you work. So if you're going to change jobs or you're getting ready to leave a job, probably not the best time to buy. Or if you're moving soon, let's say you're moving from the East Valley to the West Valley soon for whatever reason. Obviously, buying a property in the East Valley wouldn't make much sense if you had to be on the west side. Your credit score is poor. And the reason I put that on there is because if your credit score is poor, just like anything else that you would borrow money for, the rates are not going to be as good as if your credit was in better shape. You don't have enough money for the down payment. Now, the last thing you want to do is buy a home and then be completely wiped out of your bank account. So there are instances where it does not make sense to buy if you just don't have enough money for the down payment comfortably. Market unpredictability. Well, right now, we're not in that stage, but sometimes it's best to hold off. If you were in Arizona in 2007, 2008, 2009, during the financial crisis, you would see that there was a huge dip in prices and inventory changed a lot. So that probably wasn't a great time to buy a home. Or maybe it was. That's something to debate.